Welcome to TarantulasDreamTV. You are watching a previously recorded broadcast. Tune in every Monday and Wednesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Instagram at TarantulasDreamTV for new episodes. And remember, it is a weird, weird world.
Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati. Which is true, we are. Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati. Which is true, we are. Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati. Which is true, we are.
Truth in plain sight, disguised as comedy. Moments later, the interviewer throws up the 6 on purpose, confirming that this statement that David says is no coincidence.
It is intended for the entertainment and instruction of broad-minded adults only, and should not be played to or sold to minors under any circumstances whatsoever. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the floating pie pan in the sky at Groom Lake Analog Recordings. Welcome to Tarantulas Dream TV. Now here's your host, Samba.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another broadcast of Tarantulas Dream TV. I am your host,
Samba.
And tonight, the episode everyone's all been waiting for, the week that everyone's been requesting. It's been blowing up in my inbox. You know, I've been getting fan mail, I've been getting telegrams, holograms, gyro mail. I've been getting it all. It is Simpsons week here at Tarantulas Dream TV, so I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820 if you'd like to call in at 9:30. I'm opening up the phone lines for open lines, so if you have any questions about The Simpsons, if you have any quotes you want to throw at me, if you want to just talk Simpsons, that's the time to do it. I hope everyone enjoyed the intro music today. It's from Phoenix Locals' Oakley Dokley. And the song was called I Can't, It's a Geo. So yeah, if anyone liked the song, you know where to find them. They're on Bandcamp at oakleydokley.bandcamp.com, I believe. Actually, I didn't get the full address, so potentially that they might have like an oakleydokley.az.bandcamp.com or something. But yes, Phoenix band Oakley Dokley, a Ned Flanders metal I guess a tribute band. They're not really a cover band. I mean, Ned Flanders didn't really write any songs or anything, but yes, a tribute band. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. It is Tarantulas Dream TV. Now tonight, before we get into the Simpsons meat, I do have some headlines for you, because it was a crazy week in regards to headlines. So I do have two, one a little more serious than the other, at least in regards to politics and whatnot. But I'm not sure how many people are familiar with Sinclair, the Sinclair Broadcasting Group, or Sinclair Media, or Sinclair Broadcasting Group, but this headline comes from CNN.com. Sinclair says it will postpone and rework segment featuring conspiracy theory about Fauci. The Sinclair Broadcast Group said Saturday it will postpone and rework a segment it planned to air this weekend that suggested Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, was responsible for the creation of the coronavirus. The baseless conspiracy theory was set to air on stations across the country in a segment during the program America This Week, hosted by Eric Balling. The show, which is posted online before it is broadcast over the weekend, is distributed to Sinclair's network of local television stations, one of the largest in the country. In a memo sent to its local television stations on Saturday, Sinclair instructed news directors to avoid airing it for now. The most recent episode of Boiling Show, which was supposed to include the conspiracy theory. Last I heard, actually, they decided to just completely pull the broadcast, or at least pull that segment. They're not going to run it at all. Now, what they were going to do is run the pandemic, pieces of the pandemic, anti-COVID-19, Anthony Fauci created the COVID-19 pandemic documentary that came out a little bit earlier in the year. But now it looks like they're not airing it at all. Now, Sinclair Broadcast Group or Sinclair Media or whatnot, they're right-leaning, to say the least. I looked it up, and as of 2018, they still don't own, at least on record, they don't own any television stations in Arizona. So in regards to our local media, our local news stations, you shouldn't be seeing any Sinclair-approved messaging. I believe there was an episode of the John Oliver Show a number of years ago that kind of went a little deeper into exactly sort of the propaganda that Sinclair kind of mandates that their owned news stations share. So this is good news that they're pulling this, because we really don't need any more kind of propagating of this conspiracy theory, at least on like major news stations, or at the very least local news stations, which is where a lot of people get their news from and trust that news. So that is a good sign. Having said that, it is it's not great that they were planning to run this anyway, but at this point it looks like they're not doing it. Now the second headline of the night is it's a crazy one. So early, I think a lot of people on the stream might have tuned into the Tom DeLonge episode, so this might be old hat for you, or it might seem a little, you might have rumblings of deja vu, but the New York Times, I believe on Thursday, posted a new article. It was titled "No Longer in Shadows, Pentagon's UFO unit will make some findings public." Despite Pentagon's statements that it disbanded a once covert program to investigate unidentified flying objects, the effort remains underway, renamed and tucked inside the Office of Naval Intelligence, where officials continued to study mystifying encounters between military pilots and unidentified aerial vehicles. Now, the gist of the article, to kind of paraphrase, is, well, at this point, it does look like they're still, the government is kind of doing this, it seems like this soft disclosure situation where slowly but surely they're leaking small bits of information in regards to their internal UFO investigations, with this particular article making some pretty incredible claims. Now, it looks like they kind of went through and edited a little bit, but over on Popular Mechanics, they also have an article. The article's called "Pentagon Has Off-World Vehicles Not Made on This Earth." Now, this article is pulling from that other article from the New York Times before they kind of went through and edited a little bit and kind of clarified some statements. But Harry Reid, the former Nevada senator who was instrumental in funding the original UFO program, so the original program that preceded what the program that the New York Times article was talking about, told the New York Times that he believes that crashes of objects of unknown origin may have occurred and that retrieved materials should be studied. Now, from the article, it says, "After looking into this, I came to the conclusion that there were reports, some were substantive, some not so substantive, that there were actual materials that the government and the private sector had in their possession." So read into that what you will, but in my book, that kind of seems like he's saying that there are unknown materials, off-world vehicles, alien craft. I don't know. I mean, it's still kind of up in the air. There's no specifics, and obviously this article didn't quite give us the juice in regards to what they had, but some pretty big admissions here. from the New York Times, from different sources in the government. I mean, this is, I think in any other time and any other, place in history, at least within the past decade, I feel like this would be pretty big news, pretty giant news, that the government admitting that they've been studying UFOs and that there's an actual that they potentially even have material, but with this year being probably one of the craziest years we've ever had, in a lot of ways, this kind of thing just seems to kind of have fallen to the wayside. So we'll see what happens. Apparently every 180 days, this group is supposed to present its findings. So they should be releasing something soon in regards to what that means. So we'll see. I will report on it as soon as I read about it. But keep your eyes, open and peeled to see what happens. So yes, tonight we are getting into The Simpsons, our favorite sitcom family. Now, before I get into The Simpsons, I want to check some of these comments and see what's going on over here on the internet. So Benjamin, smash that heart if you're ready to get cromulent. I'm ready to get cromulent. Trial and Error Collective Medal. Yes. Benjamin Ray, great way to kick off Smarch. Oh, lousy Smarch weather. Las Muletas, my soul is embiggened. Oh, mine as well. Honeycomb Viper, my week when I heard about this episode. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Well, I'm hoping that these episodes, give you a good start to the week, I guess. Because you know what, we all deserve a good week. Trial and Error Collective, lousy Smarch. Yes, Las Muletas. Thank you, Samba. Oh, no problem, Las Muletas. Las Muletas, I've got a big plate of nachos, Flanders style. Ooh, yes, I could go for some cucumbers and cottage cheese. Celia. Hello, Celia. Benjamin, stupid sexy Samba. Oh, come on, Benjamin. Little Bloodweiser. Oh, hello, Little Bloodweiser. I haven't seen you in a little while. Welcome back to the stream. Always happy to have you. Last one with this. Auto Gyro. Yes. I really wish I could have sent a couple letters via Auto Gyro. Blob Dordo. Do we have a trustworthy news source, independent journalists? I guess, most of the time when I get articles and headlines, I'm just pulling from news aggregate sources. The Associated Press, a lot of times they get articles from that and they'll link to other places, or even Politico. But, it kind of depends on your political affiliations, of what you feel is trustworthy. But at least for me, I try to find at least the ones that lean right down the center, or if not to the left. Say what you will about that. Benjamin, I was hoping you'd talk about this. That's effing wild. Yes, the whole UFO off-world vehicles comment that was in that article. That's, again, say what you will. That seems pretty obvious what you're talking about. Off-world vehicles, things that were not, that there's, that experts in the field are saying, oh yeah, we definitely didn't build this on Earth. So again, any other time, this feels like this would have been a bigger deal. But, as of now, it's, it was an article on Thursday, and I honestly haven't heard much more about it from other sources. It was kind of blowing up on the UFO subreddit. And everyone was just kind of freaking out. So at any rate, we'll see where that goes. So thank everyone for tuning in. Now on to the meat. So The Simpsons. I'm sure most of us know what The Simpsons are, what it is. But to give you a little background on The Simpsons, it was created by American cartoonist Matt Groening for the Fox Broadcasting Company. It first aired in 1987 as a collection of shorts on the Tracy Ullman Show. They've even used some of these shorts, I believe, in The Simpsons has a few episodes of their clip shows, pretty much, and so they've definitely played some of those shorts, those Tracy Ullman Show shorts, on the actual Simpsons as part of a clip show. So they're easy to find if you'd like to go back to some Simpsons history. Now, it made its full-length debut on network television about 2 years later, and 30 plus years later, it has become the longest-running sitcom in television history, with 684 episodes under its belt, which is pretty crazy. Now, Groening chose the name The Simpsons because he found it funny that it contained the word simp in the title, which is short for simpleton, which, simp is making a comeback amongst a certain subsection of people. Now, over their 30-year broadcast history, The Simpsons has inadvertently predicted the future in some capacity, although the actual proof of these predictions can sometimes just be boiled down to the fact that when you have a TV show that's been around for as long as The Simpsons has, you are bound to have some cross-contamination with real-life events. So I want to get started by kind of listing about 4 Simpsons predictions. Now, a lot of these I feel like are pretty well known, I think, amongst fans of the show and maybe just pop culture fans in general. The phenomena of The Simpsons predicting the future is I think is pretty well known in this capacity. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and there's a lot of people who don't know about this, but The Simpsons is rumored to have predicted the future many, many times. There's a giant if you just search for it on Google, there's giant lists of all these different little events in world history that The Simpsons kind of alluded to, but I wanted to get into 4 just to kind of start us off light. Excuse me. So the first one was the Siegfried and Roy tiger attack. In 2003, during a show at the Mirage on Roy, his name is Roy Horn's birthday on October 3rd, 2003, a 7-year-old white tiger named Manticore attacked Roy. Now, in the 1993 episode Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling, Gunther and Ernst, a parody of Siegfried and Roy, were also attacked on stage at Mr. Burns' casino. So yeah, one of my favorite episodes, Gunther and Ernst, a parody of Siegfried and Roy, were attacked. They survived fairly unscathed, I guess, in the episode, and went on to, I believe they're in a later episode when Homer goes back to Vegas with Smithers, or not Smithers, I'm so sorry, with Flanders. So they survived. But yes, all the way back in 1993, this parodied Siegfried and Roy were attacked by a tiger, and then guess what? In 2003, it actually happened. Now, a 1998 episode, Ron Howard pitches a screenplay that Homer wrote to producer Brian Grazer of 20th Century Fox. Now, at the beginning of the scene, a sign can be seen at the Fox studio lot that reveals the company is now a division of Walt Disney Company. In 2017, Disney reached a $66 billion deal to buy Fox. And I actually have a little picture for you right here. Boom, there you go. I don't know if it might be a little bit hard to read just because of how Instagram's going to squish it and compress it, but it says 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney. So yes, again, The Simpsons predicting the future, already showing us that Disney's going to own everything at this point. They bought the Fox company. Now, in a 2000 episode, a flash forward reveals that Lisa has become president of the United States. And when finding out that the country is completely broke, one of her aides reveals the country inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump. And 16 years later, we all know how that turned out. The Simpsons predicting the Trump presidency. I think that's one of the more well-known Simpsons predicting the future conspiracies, at least lately. The one that got more play, which I will get into, I think is fairly easy to prove as inaccurate. Well, this one really did happen. This episode did air in 2000, and according to the creators of The Simpsons, it was mostly sort of a joke and sort of a warning about the idea that someone like Donald Trump could become president. But it is very a little spooky that they were able to predict in some capacity that Donald Trump would be president 16 years earlier. Now, these are ultimately just a few examples that many people see as eerily too close to reality. The list goes on and on when doing a simple online search. But again, The Simpsons is a long-running television sitcom spanning across decades, and sometimes becoming a barometer for the cultural feelings of a nation always in flux. So, when you're on the air as long as The Simpsons have been, you're bound to have a few moments of clarity, I guess you could say, and these moments are going to happen. So I would say that I wouldn't go so far as to say as The Simpsons these kind of predictions are particularly spooky or all that amazing, but it does get crazier. So the next thing I want to talk about is the introduction of our favorite secret world leaders, the rulers of all our lives, the Illuminati. Okay, so let's assume that The Simpsons are able to correctly predict the future. how would the show's creators be able to do so? Now, one theory involves our favorite global overlords, the Illuminati. Now, in the intro for tonight's episode of Tarantulas Dream TV, YouTuber conspiracy theorist Yibo, whose about page says, Yibo is obey backwards, meaning we don't obey, and boasts over 5 million views. Now, the YouTube channel from Yibo, he pulls a clip from an ABC News interview conducted with the creators of The Simpsons at an event celebrating 600 episodes. When interviewing Simpsons director David Silverman, Silverman says, The Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we are part of the Illuminati, which is an emphasis on I, which is true. So I'm going to play that clip for you one more time just because it is a pretty good clip, and I do like the little kind of the end voiceover that Yibo gives us. So let me play that for you real quick.
Predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati, which is true. We are. Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati, which is true. We are. Simpsons predicted the future shot by shot because we're part of the Illuminati, which is true. We are.
Truth in plain sight, disguised as comedy. Moments later, the interviewer throws up the 6 on purpose, confirming that this statement that David says is no coincidence.
So there you go. So that was from YouTuber conspiracy theorist Yibo, which is obey backwards. Now the video goes a lot longer than that, and he does get a little bit deeper into exactly why he believes or what he believes is signs that David Silverman is essentially telling us to our faces that the Simpsons creators are part of the Illuminati. One of those being, and I threw this up during the Illuminati celebrity episode, was the use of hand signs. One of those being the I guess you could call it like the little, I'm gonna do it right here to the camera, the little OK sign. Apparently that's also a symbol for 666, so that was an illusion, letting the people know that what he's saying is the truth. Now, although it isn't revealed what the question was that would elicit such a response, it probably stands to reason that Silverman was being asked about the popular Simpsons predict the rise of Donald Trump conspiracy theory, in which an image floating around the good old internet juxtaposes the Simpsons Trump and the real Trump. Now, I do have a picture that was floating around the internet for a while right here with the a 2000 sort of web episode of The Simpsons, where it was like sort of like a digital short on the left, and then the actual 2015 Trump riding down the escalator scene, and then him at, I guess, in front of or behind his like Trump branding logo at a podium. Now, the interesting thing about this conspiracy theory is that it's pretty easy to debunk. Now, this image was taken from a 2015 video posted to the Animation Domination YouTube page, which was the same year that Donald Trump announced his intention to run for president. Although probably meant to be taken as a joke, many conspiracy theorists still maintain that these offhand revelations are meant to throw the general public for a loop, revealing their Illuminati allegiances to our faces while maintaining their grip on the truth. Now, what is some of the actual evidence that the creators of The Simpsons are using the show as a vehicle for the Illuminati and its satanic agenda? Which is what I'm going to get into right after our Song of the Night break, which I'm about to take right now. It's about 9:25. Now, before I take that break, I'm going to check the comments real quick and see, if you guys have any hot takes or any, opinions on The Simpsons being an Illuminati tool. Blob Dordo, Illuminati. Yes, we discussed this last week. I love Illuminati. Benjamin, Yibo would have been a good name for Funzo too. Honestly, yeah, that would have been a good name for that fuzzy Funzo. The Yibo channel, I've actually watched a handful of their videos, mostly involving, oh boy, like the Illuminati and adrenochrome conspiracies and Pizzagate stuff. It's quite the channel, and it's pretty amazing. The fact that this particular channel has over 5 million views, and now that's obviously all their videos put together, but still, that's a lot of views for a conspiracy channel that I I believe that the channel itself was made within the last like 5 years. So, that's like 1 million views a year. So, Yibo's doing pretty good for himself. I don't know if he's getting any ad sponsorships or anything for his YouTube page, so it's probably not working out too well for him in terms of getting paid, but he's spreading the truth, apparently. Anyway, so the time is 9:25. I'm going to get to my song of the night. Tonight it's by the band Johnny Maraca and the Maracas from Oakland, California. The song's called Tiny Tears from the 2020 album No. So after I get back, it's going to be open line, so if you have any questions or comments you'd like to ask Old Samba over here, phone number for the show is 520-704-780 or 7820. Yeah, it's only 6 numbers. Why would don't call 780. So I will be back right after Johnny Maraca and the Maracas, and we're gonna get into it. There you go. That was Johnny Maraca and the Maracas. Sorry, it ended real suddenly right there. That's actually how the song ends. So there was no, I didn't mess up over here and cut the song off early. So yeah, that was Johnny Maraca and the Maracas from Oakland, California. The song "Tiny Tears" from the 2020 album No. Now, if you're a fan of the Johnny Maraca and the Maracas, you can find their album at johnnymaraca.bandcamp.com, johnnymaraca.bandcamp.com, and throw some rock and bones towards Johnny Maraca and the Maracas. Time is 9:28. It is open lines. I'm opening up 2 minutes early. Count them 2 minutes early. So if you have any questions, comments, or just want to rap about The Simpsons, phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. Now, before I get back to the meat, I want to check out some of these comments one more time and see what is going on. Blob Dordo, Tucson Punk's roots. Yes, the Johnny Maraca. He is a former Tucsonan. A forever Tucsonan in our hearts, but a former one physically. Las Muletas, Samba, what are some of your favorite Simpsons moments or episodes? I am in the camp that The Simpsons essentially only really exists from probably the middle of season 2 to, for me, the cutoff is the end of season 9. Any other Simpsons episodes beyond season 9, for me, just start to fall off, and they just have that feel of the millennium, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know, the writing changed, the art changed. So essentially, almost any episode within that time frame, I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Some of my favorites would have to be the Camp Krusty episode, with one of my favorite moments being Krusty at Wimbledon eating a bowl of strawberries and cream and going, strawberries. Love that moment. And probably a little later on, I love any episode of Sideshow Bob, mostly the one where he tries to kill Selma, and he's telling her all the ways he wants to kill her in French. Anyways, we got a caller. Caller, you are on the air. Hello. Hello. Who is this?
My name is Adam.
Adam, what can I do for you?
I just had a theory regarding The Simpsons.
All right, let's hear it.
It's all just kind of a visual thing.
Okay.
But are the Illuminati stuff that's going to happen, and it's represented by a couple of things.
Okay.
The fact that their eyes are wide open, so they have this knowledge, but also like they all have overbites, meaning they have the knowledge and they've bitten off more than they can chew. So they're constantly wide-eyed and in fear, and their skin is yellow, which is another thing. Like if you're yellow, you're scared, you're chicken. So they're just paranoid because they have all of this knowledge and they just exist in this world, and they know all these things are going to happen just deep down subconsciously, and that just drives their fear.
Wow. Okay. Is this something that is this something you felt or thought for a long time? Is this more of a current theory that you're kind of piecing together? Or, when did this start? This is great, honestly. In terms of some of the conspiracy theories I've been investigating with The Simpsons, this is honestly one of the more intriguing and probably believable ones. So I'm very curious about this. I
just thought of it in the last few minutes that I was listening to your show.
Okay, well, I appreciate it.
Of course. I'll think on it some more if that would help you. Oh, sure.
Yes. Feel free to call back, or if you're on the chat, feel free to chat with any more, elaborating on your theory. But thank you very much for calling, Adam.
Thank you very much. I enjoy your show.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Anyways, that was a call from Adam. I don't know if that was their real name or an alias, but wow, what a interesting theory in regards to The Simpsons and the potentially the Illuminati, or at least just knowing future events. It's a scary thing to know too much about the future. So back to the comments real quick. I've got quite a few new ones over here. Trial and Error Collective agreed. Lizzie Mouse. Oh, hello, Lizzie Mouse. First time tuner in, listener, viewer. If you could turn a Simpsons moment into real life, what would it be? Ooh, boy, Simpsons moment that you would turn into real life. Let me think about that for real quick while I get to the rest of these comments, because the fact that there's so many different just kind of interesting moments in The Simpsons that it's kind of hard to pick one. But let me get back to you, Lizzie Mouse. Eggs and Eyes, anyone have any favorite celebrity appearances? Oh, Benjamin, Linda Ronstadt. Honestly, the Linda Ronstadt snowplow episode is absolutely amazing. And, the fact that she's a hometown hero and she was on The Simpsons is pretty great as well. Eggs and Eyes, yes. Blob Dorda, once Futurama started, Simpsons stopped being good. That is something I've heard quite a bit. A lot of the good writing went to Futurama. I've never actually been much of a Futurama fan, to be honest. I know of many Futurama moments that are pretty iconic, and the Fry finding his dog or losing his dog waiting for him, that kind of thing. Schnoo, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm familiar with Futurama, but I'm actually not a big fan. But maybe I should start tuning into that instead of every once in a while catching a new Simpsons episode, which are just awful. Trial and Error Collective, I like that theory. Yes, I'm assuming you're referring to our caller Adam's theory of the Simpsons being so ingrained with the knowledge of the future that it just scares them, and their overbites. They bit off more than they can chew, and their skin is yellow because they're scared. So, anyways, back to the Simpsons and the evil. I don't know, evil behind the scenes doings of The Simpsons. Now, one popular rumor in conspiracy circles is that creator Matt Groening is a Freemason, who we all know is one of the Illuminati's best-known groups, and injects Masonic imagery into the show. Now, his membership in the Illuminati, or Freemasons, also means he is given access to knowledge about the past, present, and future that most people would never have access to. In a less nefarious twist, he is also rumored to be a time traveler, a theory that also explains The Simpsons' ability to predict future events. Now, one of those events is the discovery of the Higgs boson 14 years before CERN revealed its findings in 2012. Now, in a 1998 episode, The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace, Homer becomes an inventor inspired by Thomas Edison. In the process of his research, Homer writes an equation on a chalkboard predicting the mass of the Higgs boson to be 775 giga-electron volts, or GeV. Now, this is from ScienceAlert.com. It says British science writer and author of The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, Simon C., says, in the scheme of things, that figure actually isn't that far off from the 125 giga-electron volts, the giga-electron volt estimate that was the result of the CERN Higgs boson discovery in 2012. Now, if you work it out, you can get the mass of a Higgs boson that's only a bit larger than the nanomass of what a Higgs boson actually is. It's kind of amazing as Homer makes this prediction 14 years before it was discovered. Now, I do have an image of that clip. So this is from that episode of Homer writing out this formula of his. I believe it looks like it has to do something with a donut. I do remember this episode. I don't remember really a lot of the specifics other than them going to a museum of Thomas Edison's inventions, and Homer leaves his electric hammer there, and then they attribute that to Thomas Edison. So poor Homer, even he couldn't, he didn't get credit for his electronic or electric hammer. But yes, apparently he discovered the Higgs boson, or the mass of the Higgs boson, 14 years before it was discovered by CERN. So that's actually fairly interesting compared to some of the other kind of conspiracy theories about The Simpsons predicting the future. That is one of the ones that's a little more like, oh, that's kind of spooky. Now, YouTube channel Open Source Intelligence posted a video entitled The Simpsons Illuminati Media, which attempts to break down the Masonic symbolism peppered throughout the show. So I do have this video, or I have clips of it. I call it a Freemason supercut. So all I'm going to do is going to play that for you now, and just open your eyes and open your ears and just get educated on all the Masonic imagery in The Simpsons.
New epoch, one of prophecy, puzzles, and signs in the sky. And that epoch begins today.
Go, it's like a conspiracy.
A conspiracy, eh? Freemasons run the country! Freemasons run the country! Look! Achy Breaky Stacy for $1.99! Live from the improv.
Don't got a world council before we act too rashly. Kill him!
Kill the fool!
Afraid I have to disagree with Orville, Jack, and Mister. Can't we just do something to his voice box?
I love this part of the video with just a random shot of Michael Richards.
Of high-ranking Freemasons led by Benjamin Franklin, George Washington, and King George III staged a phony War of Independence to cover their search for the gem.
I still don't believe all the founding fathers were stonecutters.
That's because it's...
Oh, I've known about the gem for years. You see, my dear girl, I joined the Freemasons before it was trendy. It's my eyeball on the dollar bill.
And there you go. Those are all, that's all Masonic symbolism in The Simpsons, kind of broken down into a little more of a digestible format. Now, to kind of get back to Lizzie Mouse's question about if I could turn a Simpsons moment into real life, what would it be? Honestly, the Freemasons, the Stonecutters, even though they are sort of just a thinly veiled kind of allusion to Freemasons and secret societies, if a society like that actually existed, where you had these secret rings that you could kind of plug into a soda machine and get free candy and sodas, if you had a secret kind of like cave freeway entrance to kind of skip over traffic, if they could wheel in a nice massage chair right now into the studio for me, I would like to be a part of an organization like that that just got so many perks, or you put a sticker on your car and it keeps cops from pulling you over, or keeps paramedics from stealing your wallet. Yeah, so if I could turn a moment into real life, it would be a secret society that actually does stuff. So back to the Masonic symbolism. Now, most of the rumored Masonic symbolism stems from the sixth season episode, Homer the Great, in which Homer stumbles upon a secret society, the Stonecutters, rumored to be a thinly veiled analog for the Freemasons. Although it is interesting that it's demonstrated a handful of times that the Freemasons also exist in the Simpsons universe. So even the Stonecutters and the Masons, I don't know if they have any kind of secret competition going on between them, but they do both exist in Simpsons universe. Now, the Stonecutters are reportedly responsible for keeping the metric system down, controlling the British crown, and even keeping the Martians under wraps. Many of their claims have been attributed to the Illuminati as well. Now, Mr. Burns has claimed to be a part of the Freemasons in later episodes, but seems to recoil in horror at the thought of Freemasons running the country when hallucinating sentient germs in the aforementioned Mr. Burns Casino episode. Now, another point of connection is the Simpsons Go to New York episode, in which the Simpsons travel to New York to reclaim Homer's lost car. In the episode, Bart is seen standing in front of an image of the Twin Towers with the words New York, $9 next to it. The 9 and the Twin Towers appear to resemble 9/11. This episode was broadcasted in 1997, 4 years before the events of September 11th, 2001. So I do have a picture of that right here, and as you can see, it says New York, says $9. Right next to it are the Twin Towers, and when you really look into this image, all you can really see is the allusion to the 9/11 September 11th terrorist attacks. Now, this is a pretty famous conspiracy theory that was floating around the internet for a long time. I mean, it's still used as a proof of the Simpsons being able to predict the future. Say what you will about it. It is a interesting juxtaposition, the 9 and the Twin Towers, whether you believe that's a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge to a future terrorist attack, is, maybe to some people. But yeah, that is it's a very well-known kind of conspiracy with The Simpsons. Now, this isn't the only time in The Simpsons and 9/11 have crossed paths. The 2010 episode, To Surveil with Love, features a scene in which an explosion sends a giant clock hurtling towards the Simpsons' backyard. When it lands, Homer notices the time and jumps from his hammock. The time reads 11:30, but when read upside down, it becomes clear it really says 9/11. This episode is also used as evidence that the Simpsons could be predicting or have predicted a large-scale false flag attack, ushering a new age of surveillance and martial law. Now, I do have the actual clip of that episode where this happens, and I will let you be the judge.
5, 4, no time for a full countdown.
Ooh, it's dinner time.
5, 4, no time for a full countdown.
Ooh, it's dinner time.
There you go. So that is a clip from that episode showing another thinly veiled allusion to 9/11 and Freemasonry. So, and the video does point out that there's a black and white sort of pattern around the clock. Now, black and white squares are said to symbolize the checkered existence of man, according to Freemasonry. So there is a tie to Freemasonry in regards to the colors of black and white checkered pattern. Whether that's the case here with the clock, again, we'll let you be the judge, but if you look at the clock upside down, apparently it says 9/11. Now, another supposed allusion to 9/11. Now, actually, let me backpedal a little bit. That last clip, so I forgot to mention, I did look up that date, November 6th, 2010. I couldn't find anything in regards to a terrorist attack or a false or any kind of attack on that day. At least nothing that was reported online or to the mainstream media or anything really. I could pull up the website I looked it up on now, but ultimately there was a few weddings that day. I think maybe a couple people died, famous people, but ultimately no false flag attack. So this one doesn't seem to pan out in regards to the Simpsons predicting the future, but maybe this actually prevented that thing from happening. Now, another supposed allusion to 9/11 occurs in the 1993 episode Marge versus the Monorail. Now, one scene in particular shows celebrities and local Springfieldians mingling inside the newly launched monorail, with various disaster scenes behind them. One in particular appears to show what looks like the Twin Towers on fire, which I have right here, this little clip for you. So there you go. Right behind those two lovebirds dancing in the monorail was apparently one of the World Trades and the Twin Towers on fire. Now, 1 month later, in 1993, the World Trade Center bombing occurred. Now, for anyone who doesn't remember or isn't familiar with that bombing, the 1993 World Trade Center bombing was a terrorist attack on the World Trade Center carried out on February 26, 1993, when a truck bomb detonated below the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The 1,336-pound urea nitrate hydrogen gas enhanced device was intended to send the North Tower crashing into the South Tower, bringing both towers down and killing thousands of people. It failed to do so, but killed 6 people and injured over 1,000. So that is a little bit of I wasn't able to find exactly what that painting was supposed to be. Obviously, it was clear that the other painting that showed beforehand was supposed to be the Hindenburg, and the joke is alluding to disasters, which was about to happen to the monorail. But I wasn't sure what that other picture was supposed to be, and I wasn't able to find what that was supposed to be. So it is a little weird that a month before they sort of did predict the World Trade Center bombing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it's supposed to mean. It is just a building with smoke coming out of it, so it could be any building. So let me get back to your comments here and see what is going on over here. It looks like everything is blowing up over here. Las Muletas, Freemasons run the country. Yes, potentially they do. I don't know. I think a lot of Freemasons tend to be just like old retirees. So I don't know. I guess half the time they have enough trouble organizing their own lives. I don't know if they could run mine. Benjamin, that's why he made Futurama. Again, Benjamin, are you a fan of Futurama? It sounds like you might be. Quiverlip, what blows my mind is how people have the time and knowledge, really, to make the connections between real life events and the show. You'd be amazed how many people have nothing better to do than to just sit around and pick apart popular media. I mean, I think that's kind of a point I've been trying to make over these last, this is broadcast number 17, by the way. So over these 17 broadcasts is the idea that, at least with conspiracy theorists, there's no shortage of conspiracy theorists and theories, and a lot of people just don't have anything else to do, and so they really can just sit and pick apart any piece of popular media, whether that's a new Hollywood feature film, a new R&B album, a new comic book. There's a Masonic, Illuminati, satanic imagery in everything, depending on what you believe. Mary Ellen Rose, my phone died, so I may have missed it, but did you know Yeardley Smith, aka Lisa, now co-hosts a true crime podcast? I feel like the Illuminati would not be happy about that. Well, hello, Mary Ellen Rose. I did not know that. That's very interesting. I will check out Yeardley Smith's true crime podcast. That is very interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that the Illuminati would be very happy about. I would imagine Yeardley Smith would be a member of the Illuminati if she works on The Simpsons, unless it's so compartmentalized that even the voice cast don't know that they're part of the Illuminati or who is part of the Illuminati. I don't know. Lizzie Mouse, I mean, why are these messages seen as nefarious? I say they're just giving us a heads up, like, yo, stop being idiots. Warnings. Yeah, I'd say that, or Lizzie Mouse, we're just not listening, just a thought. That is a good point. I think in regards to The Simpsons, or at least conspiracy theorists, the idea that the Illuminati or Freemasons, or they're kind of one and the same to a lot of conspiracy theorists, the idea that they know the future or that they're controlling the future, I think is what they have a big problem with. I don't think it's necessarily the warnings. It's the idea that we're not warning you. What we're really doing is showing you what we can do and what we're doing, and you have no control over it, and we're going to put it in a sitcom that is going to run for decades, and there's nothing you can do about it but sit here and watch us control your life. I think I haven't honestly talked to conspiracy theorists or anyone who firmly believes in conspiracy theory for just at face value, but it is, I feel like that's probably what they're worried about. Las Muletas says, what number would you be if you were a stonecutter? 69, baby. Quiver Lip, it blows my mind how people have the did that comment come up twice? I don't know. Came up twice. Well, Quiverlip, I answered your question. Quiverlip, real life. And any conspiracy theories, really, yes. Eggs and Eyes, predictive programming is a trip. Yes, and we'll be getting into a little more of that on Wednesday. I might even have a special guest on Wednesday. We'll see. Quiverlip, yeah, but how people pick up on those details, like the math equation. Who would have made the connection without remembering the equation or having it in front of them when the episode is playing? Very true. And in fact, I don't really know how the math equation essentially made it back into the mainstream when the Higgs boson was discovered and made public. I don't really know how that happened. It feels like potentially that could be an algorithm question. Maybe the algorithm that we talked about last week has come back to haunt us, and it brought that clip back into the social media sphere to kind of make those connections. Or I don't know, maybe just someone was watching an episode of The Simpsons, saw that equation, decided to work it out and they figured it out. I don't know. Lost Maletas, nerds. Yeah, or that was probably the answer too. It was just a bunch of nerds. Quiverlip, or the Trump going down the elevator scene. Like, who would have made that connection? Well, like I said before, that clip of Trump going down the elevator in The Simpsons was made the same year that he made that announcement, after he went down the escalator. It was just later on, a lot of conspiracy theorists and people who were already predisposed to believing this kind of stuff were taking memes essentially as face value that actually happened back in 2000 when it didn't happen in 2000. Lizzie Mouse, what if this is a Back to the Future situation, like someone's great-great-grandkid made a trip back? Also true. I mean, potentially Matt Groening could be that kid, that time traveler. I feel like that's more of a fun conspiracy theory, that Matt Groening's just a time traveler and he's just kind of having fun with his show, as opposed to him being like a blood drinking Illuminati member. Blob Dordo, Freemasons are just ska kids. Yeah, they just love to pick it up. They just love to pick it up. Quirlip, oh, that looks just like the episode of The Simpsons. I mean, I know people are obsessed with the show, but it's still wild to pick up on those details. You know what? I agree with you. It is weird and it's wild when doing research for this show. Just the little things people pick out. And in fact, on Wednesday, we'll get into another conspiracy theorist who is a pretty famous YouTube conspiracy theorist who also made a video in regards to the Simpsons and the Illuminati. Lizzie Mouse just saying, Honeycomb Viper, that nuclear war clock theory, so brave to tell the truth like that. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you know about an incoming potential nuclear attack, what better way than to just do a thinly veiled allusion to it on a cartoon, as opposed to, you know, letting people know that's going to happen. But, you know, very brave. And Benjamin, wait, that's spooky. I'm imagining you're referring to that last clip with The Simpsons potentially predicting the 1993 World Trade Center bombing a month before it happened. Yeah, I would say that's probably one of the ones that, when looking at it kind of for face value, does feel a little spooky. Feels a little creepy. Again, I might do a little more research in between now and Wednesday and see if I can find out what that painting is supposed to be. You know, and maybe there was another World Trade Center attack in some capacity before that I just don't know about. Or maybe, I don't know, or maybe it's just a different building on fire. Maybe they're just saying sometimes buildings catch on fire. Anyway, the time is about 9:55. I have about 3 minutes left on the stream, so I'm going to call the show for tonight. I do have some more Simpsons conspiracy stuff for you on Wednesday, so please come back and tune in on Wednesday. I want to thank everyone for tuning in tonight, though. I'm happy to see everyone on the stream, you know, with your questions, with your hot takes. You know, it's just nice to see people engaging about something that I love. I love The Simpsons, probably one of my favorite TV shows, so this was definitely an interesting show to prep for. Anyways, I hope everyone's staying safe out there. I hope everyone is doing their part with COVID-19. I hope everyone is just trying to stay healthy. You know, that's really all we need to do. Stay healthy, keep each other safe and healthy. Please social distance if you can. Wear a mask if you go outside, and remember, it is a weird world. Take care.